have fucked Ian Gary's wife. Oh man. Tonight, I'm gonna bring you to a place you never want to be. I'm gonna bring you the 7th layer hell.
Okay.
No, I'm bringing you to 7th layer hell. We'll say what's up to your dad while we're there.
Oh!
Colby Covington is risking his entire career at UFC 296. This could be potentially the last time we see Colby in an octagon. Now, we've probably all heard and seen the absolute mayhem at the press conference for UFC 296 today. Most notably, General Colby, as he was calling himself, General Covington, at one point mentioned Leon's late father in reference to being in hell. This is certainly wrong and completely immoral. No one can possibly argue that. It's not the first time Colby has mentioned the dead, the first being in relation to Blackzilian's founder Glenn Robinson, who was also Kamaru Usman's manager. He mentioned something about Kamaru having a heart attack like Glenn from ducking him so long. This certainly was noticed and it didn't go over well with a pretty enormous backlash. The family came out and responded, but certainly the overall reception to the barb directed at Leon has been very, very bad. Twitter is going absolutely insane. Colby is such a strange character in the UFC to me because every time he seems to be slowly chipping away and winning back the part of the wider audience that he initially alienates with his, his brash persona, he says literally the most out-of-pocket thing that you could ever think of. When he mentioned his comment about Leon's father being in hell and he was going to take him to a place that he'd never been before, he actually stuffed the line up and said, "I'm going to take you to the 7th layer of hell." And then it seemed like the reason that he came out and said this ridiculous comment about his dad was because he stuffed the line up. That's sort of how it came across. He gets completely backed into this corner with the shit he says, and then he just explodes with the most out-of-pocket thing he can possibly think of. It just completely killed the mood at the press conference. I understand how important mentality is in this game, and to me, post that comment, it really looked like it did break Leon. He could try and block that out, but there's just really no chance you can eliminate every single emotion that comment could produce in you. It could also go either way in that it could completely ruin Leon mentally, or it could also give him this burning sense of passion and drive to help him win this fight. I understand that it's just Colby's shtick and it's the business and the clicks are no doubt booming, but I can't help but feel he's just doing himself a disservice. He completely alienates himself. He puts the biggest target on his back, and he's effectively walking the plank to his demise. In this sport, that's the biggest way that you can win and you can come out on top, but it also can mean that you completely fall on your face. And the main criticism of this guy is he doesn't fight often and he's oddly rewarded with title shots when, seemingly undeserved. If Colby was saying these crazy out-of-pocket lines and continually winning, what can you really do about it? But he's not winning. He's barely fighting, and he, hasn't won in a few years. If he's winning, you can hate it, but you can't stop it. But it's even worse if you cross those lines and you still lose the fight. Winning is objectively the only important thing in this business, and if you can't do that, you snowball downhill faster than you could almost imagine. This is definitely Colby's last title shot, no doubt, and if he can't get it now, there's really not much left for him in this sport in what's a booming division at this point. Colby calling Wonderboy a kitty fiddler and telling the audience how he picks up kids in his karate van was definitely hilarious. In typical Wonderboy style, he brushed it off like it was nothing, and he continued being nice. That's very suspicious, Stephen. Shavkat saying a total of 5 words with 8 seconds of camera time, and somehow still managing to completely scare the fuck out of me. How this direct member of Genghis Khan has time travelled and managed to pick up MMA skills, I'll never know. I do not want to see this man with a bow in his hand. I'm convinced he's not human. I also still can't get over the whole Colby and Tony back and forth. It was honestly like a skit out of The Office. When Colby mentioned the 6-fight losing streak and Tony talked about Colby having Trump's sack in his mouth, it was all fairly, elementary and rudimentary and funny until Colby mentioned Tony's mental health issues, which luckily went unnoticed because Tony was talking over the top of him, just for them to turn around and make back up 45 seconds later in hilarious fashion, pitting America against the English. Just an absolute gem of a moment. Of course, Ian Gary couldn't go and not get a mention. I'm actually blaming the whole altercation at this press conference on Ian because God knows if he was there, it would have been whack-a-mole with Ian and his wife, cuck jokes. The MMA gods will really have to repay us for striking this fight down. Paddy Pimblett deserves a little shout out too. He was on fire tonight. Usually his lines are, boring and cringy and nonsensical, but he actually had a few bangers and a few zingers for Tony. They genuinely seem like there might be some vitriol between him and Tony, which is just so funny to me at this point because they're such, Tony's so over the hill and Paddy's such a busted prospect that it's just amazing. I really dread seeing how bad Tony looks out there, especially in a grudge match. It's honestly going to break me inside, so I'm praying that old Tony turns up, but what can you do? Roy Val and Pantoja, they're so not hyped, but they seem like such good blokes. Going to have a war. I'm actually so keen for their fight. Look, like it or not, the card this weekend has just boosted up a few levels in intensity and definitely intrigue. I was certainly already keen, and now it's even more so, and I just know the general public will really have seen the clips of the press conference and the heated back and forth, and it's definitely going to be turning that needle. Maybe we're the problem, who knows. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. If you're still here, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us with our fight against the YouTube algorithm. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and is this one of the the last times we see Colby fight? Let us know what you think below. See you in the next one.